Our first guest tonight is the General Secretary of the Teachers Professional Association of Queensland. His name is Jack McGuire, and he joins us. I mean, Jack, there is a problem. Let's deal with the curricula thing. It's been in the news lately. I mean, what has been the cause of these sort of curricular issues that we're now having to face?
The cause of the issue is this Quongo body, ACARA, the body that was set up by the Howard government to try and nationalise the curriculum. While it may have had good intentions, it's just totally been captured by the bureaucrats, and it's just become a bureaucratic playground. The very formation of this body exists where state education departments appoint a representative, a senior bureaucrat, to sit on this national body, and they get together and they come up with these new curriculums. And sometimes I don't think it's the children that is their intent. I think oftentimes they are quite politicised and politically motivated. Just to give you an idea of how warped, I guess, this ACARA has become. How many parent representatives do you think sit on this board? Zero, not a single one. Why wouldn't there be a P&C representative on the board and get input from parents?
Yeah. Yeah, and I mean, at the end of it, there's social engineering going on. The weak and woke agenda of the world seems to be more important than understanding about the way Australia operates, about the sort of societal norms that have always done us pretty proud as a country.
Oh, absolutely. I've got a couple of examples here. There's a hint of activism in the health and physical education curriculum, where students should develop their worldview by exploring concepts of diversity, social justice and consumerism as they relate to the promotion and maintenance of health and well-being. In physical education, in English, they are to develop the understanding and skills necessary to act responsibly and create texts that inform and persuade others to take action for sustainable futures. I read somewhere today, what does that mean? Is that presumably means that is painting a banner and taking it to your local Extinction Rebellion rally.
Yeah. So they're creating student activists. Look, and it's fine when you're 15 to be sort of passionate and to make a few blues and blunders. Heaven knows I did. I mean, we all should have at high school made a few mistakes along the way. And I joke that year 3 were the most painful 3 years of my life. I was only in year 3 for 1 year. But yeah, Jack, let's face it. What we really want from our students is to question and to find out, to be inquisitive, but to be encouraged and nurtured. Too many kids, to my mind, are sort of being demeaned, told the world's coming to an end, and we've got problems ahead. You're going to be part of the problem.
Well, all of that, but more than that, we want our teachers to be able to read. Our kids to be able to read. We want our kids to be able to write, and we want our kids to be able to do basic arithmetic. Teachers overwhelmingly have been telling me all they want is to just declutter the curriculum and get back to the basics. Allow them to get back to the basics. Allow them to teach that blue is blue, yellow is yellow, not all this, everything is grey, and it's, all a matter of perception and opinion. And I think teachers end up losing that spark and drive they have because they don't believe that themselves. They believe the things that they were taught at university and the things that still hold true and withstood the test of time. Those basic skills, and that's what I think we need to get back to. If we want to seriously fix the curriculum problems, perhaps we should do away with ACARA. Perhaps we should, we're in Queensland here, bring curriculum back into the state. There's not much that gets past that new shadow education minister in Queensland, Dr. Christian Rowan, and I think if he was a smart man, he would say, enough of this nonsense. I know what the parents want. I know what's good for the children. I know what the teachers want. I know what the bureaucrats don't want, and that's for me to take back control. And we're going to set a state curriculum. It's going to just, and I think you would then have a competition of ideas amongst the states. And if you had a basic curriculum in Queensland that just really focused on getting the basics right, you'd see Queensland go from the bottom of the leagues table straight to the top.
And I heard Bronwyn Bishop say that a week ago. Okay, so, you know, there's nothing unusual with the idea of competition of ideas. That's what the Federation was about. A thing that's not taught, no doubt, at schools anymore. Anyway, on top of that, there's been a decline in standards. You've heard too many stories, I guess, from your members about some of the things that happen. I mean, we've seen a stabbing in a Sydney high school again just yesterday, kids fighting in I think it's a non-government school in Toowoomba over a pair of shoes, girls fighting, okay? So there are stories aplenty about things that are happening at schools. Schools are almost becoming war zones, with a school on the north side of Brisbane described as that. What the heck is going on here, Jack? What's happened to our standards?
Oh, and if I could give you another example, a member of ours up in northern Queensland ended up being punched in the face, glasses broken, had 6 weeks off on workers' compensation, came back, and in that very same week, in the first week back, ended up getting stabbed with a pair of scissors. Unfortunately, now we've lost that teacher to the profession. He said, well, that's enough. I don't want to do it again. And I certainly don't blame him. But where are we going to draw the line? I mean, these stabbings that you were talking about before, are we going to end up like America and like the UK, where schools have to have metal detectors out the front? I mean, come on. Surely somewhere we need to draw a line in the sand. And I can tell you one perfect reason why these places are going out of control, and that's because principals don't have control of their schools anymore. They're not given control of their schools anymore because the bureaucrats come in and come in over the top of them and make decisions for them. If I could give you another couple of examples, Gary, that I've been aware of recently, there was a situation where a student, a big 16-year-old burly student, punched a small female teacher in the side of the face. The principal's decision was that we would move to expel the child, naturally, but didn't want to make that decision, so they decided to suspend the child. The government department, the education department, the assistant director general, in fact, came in over the top and made a ruling and said, no, the student is not to be expelled. And in fact, we're going to investigate you about why you even suspended them in the first place and what your motivations were for suspending them. We had another one up in central Queensland again, where a female teacher was punched and assaulted. The principal moved to exclude, and in that instance, it was the regional director overrode the decision and sent the kids back into the schools. I mean, if you're in a school and you're a young kid and you see that behaviour happen, and you see that it's okay because Johnny, who's just gone and punched the teacher, is back at school next to you, what kind of standard does that set? It's almost as if authority doesn't exist anymore in these schools.
Well, and of course, that's the problem. We've got it out in the community now. It's not just in our schools, it's out in our community. 10 and 11-year-olds apparently, allegedly, supposedly, reportedly stealing cars and going on joyrides. It's in our schools, of course, because it's in our society, and government woke bureaucrats are on the side of the doer rather than the person who's trying to create punishment. You're right, Jack. What's the message? Well, I wish you well with what you're doing with the Teachers Professional Association of Queensland. Obviously, trying to put a counter message out there to the massive Queensland Teachers Union. But either way, I think it's reasonable that teachers are properly represented in this. We need good teachers, and we need them out there teaching, Jack.
Oh, absolutely. And again, the only way you get good teachers is if you have kids who have been taught well. And at the moment, we've got plenty of great teachers who can teach well, but we're sort of sending them into bat with their hands tied behind their back with some of this crazy curriculum stuff that's coming through. I mean, the take-home message should be return the control of the schools to the principals. They have a hell of a lot more engagement with the parents and get them involved with what the curriculum should be.
What a great take-home message that is. Thanks so much. We'll do some homework on that, Jack McGuire. Thanks so much for your time tonight. There you go. There's a leader of a union who is talking good common sense. Keen to know what you think, as I said. #Hardgrave on Twitter.